Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? Something weird is happening, right? NFP comes out, which was the big news we talked about in pretty much Turbo. That was going to dictate whether or not price was going to dump or pump. And, it came out that America's economy is, doing well. So things like gold and, Bitcoin should have been technically dropping, while, USD pairs should have been technically rising. But it's the opposite, ladies and gentlemen. It is the opposite. And there's speculation that, people don't believe those numbers and it is simply fake news. And you know what? Like I said, news is one thing I respect, and sometimes I listen to it, sometimes I don't. But ultimately, this time it just doesn't make sense because the things that should have been happening aren't happening, and the things that you know um, shouldn't happen are happening. And yeah, so like it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't ultimately make sense, but that is okay. This is why I value the charts and the graphs so much more. We can see though, ladies and gentlemen, right? We can see price action in the last day was pretty much slow, right? It was very, very slow. It was grinding its way ultimately to the top. We can see news came out, right? The news did come out at 8 o'clock, slammed, had a little bit of recovery, and then slammed one more time at 10 o'clock. And then we can see we actually went into this nice 4-hour order block candle, which makes sense because this is the typical manipulation strategy, and this is one of the ways you could actually trade, right? We did sweep liquidity recently, pretty much on the 30th. This is pretty much where the last low was for the year, right? This is the last relevant low for the year. And we can see we swept it, right? On January 9th, we swept it. Like I said, we recovered. News came out. We started to crash. Then at 10 o'clock, we went lower perfectly into this order block. And we can see we have just been recovering ever since. Look how huge this hourly candle is, right? We went from $93,000 to $96,000 pretty much, right? So we can see huge momentum swings, right? When we go to the 4-hour candle, we can see the 4-hour started, pretty much at one point it started at 95,000, and then at one point it was at 92,300, but it ended all the way at 93,750. So, big rejection going to this order block, creating a reverse head and shoulder after a liquidity sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is signs of reversal if I've ever seen, right? We've also had a break of structure, right? We broke. This is the retest into the order block. Once again, reverse head and shoulder, liquidity sweep of 91,300. And now we are slamming up. And we can see that this weekly candle was looking very, very devastating, right? The way we were looking at it was ultimately that, whoa, price action looks scary. It looks like we are going to be slamming lower and lower, but nothing really happened, right? Nothing really happened. News did come out saying, hey, you know, we expect things to be worse, but then they ended up being better. Also, rate cuts did get pushed back, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, every time there is a rate cut, it is good for crypto. Historically, we have always seen that every time a rate cut happens, you know, crypto starts to pump. Things start to pump. So it got delayed a little bit, but you know me that I don't ride or die based off news. I am Mr. Technical Analysis, right? I still value news, especially news that comes out for a coin or this or that. But ultimately I believe the candles will always be the ones that carry, right? Candles for me are everything. It is what is going to be my main indication of using to sell near the tops. And because we've seen historically, throughout Bitcoin's time, even in other coins, but let's just say Bitcoin's time, where you know we were going into a bear season, right? And there was still decent amount of news at some point in certain price action, right? Especially when it was still near the top and recovering a little bit. You know, there was certain news that, oh, Bitcoin's doing this, Bitcoin's now here, this country bought Bitcoin. And ultimately, it did not matter because it had to do what it had to do. So, you know, technical analysis is king. Now, what is my plan? What do I expect? Let's just see how the others chart is doing. I mean, it's pretty much looking exactly like Bitcoin. We didn't dive into this area just yet. It doesn't have to happen, right? The 300 billion market cap area, but it's just something I was looking for. Ultimately, you know, it does look a little rough here, but we did say that we could very well sweep this area and start recovering here, which is still valid, right? Altcoins, they were at a very nice discount. Caspa has recovered a little bit. Render has been recovering a good amount, right? We had it at 685 yesterday, and now it's already back at 750. When we go to another coin like Turbo, we can see Turbo has recovered a little bit. Now, here's the thing. Bitcoin has recovered more than altcoins, which makes me believe, yep, that the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to rise. And this is what we talked about, right? We still have these scenarios up, and this is it, right? This is going to be the moment very, very soon deciding, if we break these highs of, 59% and we respect it and we continue going up, then, we are going to be having higher highs and Bitcoin dominance will continue to rise. Bitcoin will continue to rise. And it is better for altcoin season because we will get a bigger slam. All right. This is what we want. Now, Bitcoin dominance, if it went the opposite way, we could still technically, make money off of an altcoin season.
However, the pump wouldn't be as big. It would still be great, of course. But for me, the Bitcoin journey is not done, and I don't want it to be done. I can wait another couple more months. I have no issue. Patience is a virtue. And the reality is, the longer we wait, the bigger the fall, the bigger the altcoin season, and the more money we'll simply get, the more lives will be changed as long as you click sell. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. And remember, if you want extra guidance, always leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you. If not, join the private community. I love you guys so, so much. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.